Hi, I'm Kyle Young, and I have three more amazing faculty from 2018's Right to Publish in Wheaton, Illinois. We are so excited to share more about how we can help you make this a great conference for you this year. We want you to come, and these are some great people to meet once you come to the conference that are on faculty. I have with me Jane Rubietta, Sherri Langton, and Terry Whalin. They're going to share a little bit more about themselves, who they work for, and then we're going to get kind of into the meat of what they're looking for. So, Terry, let's start with you. Terry, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your company?
Yeah, I'm with Morgan James Publishing. We've been around about 15 years. We're a New York-based publishing house, and we do around 150 books a year. We're doing nonfiction, fiction, children's books. We're doing about 25 or 30 Christian titles. We're selling those books into 98% of the bookstores in North America, including the brick and mortar stores. I had an author yesterday on the Today Show, for example.
That's awesome. Great. And I do know I just saw Publishers Weekly just put out a list of the top 10 fastest growing publishing houses, and I think you guys are on that at number 8 or something, right?
We are on that list, yes.
Yep.
We made it again this year, and you're right, that article came out about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, good. Great. Well, Sherri, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and your company?
Yeah, I'm associate editor of the Bible Advocate magazine, and it is published by the Church of God Seventh Day. It's not the Seventh-day Adventists, it's Church of God that worships on the seventh day. And it's one of the oldest religious magazines still in print. It's about 155 years old, started in 1863. So I worked for them as well as for their publishing house, doing editing of curriculum and literature and online things. And we also have a website called Now What? We have the Bible Advocate, that's print primarily, but Now What is aimed at the unchurched. It's all personal experience stories that show either a crisis, something that somebody went through that either led them to Christ or deepen their faith in God. And we've had some really good stories on there that reach out to people on social media now and online. So that's primarily who I work for and what I do.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, thank you for taking the time with us today. And then Jane. Jane is the Associate Director of the Conference and the Manuscript Coordinator. So Jane, tell us a little bit more about yourself. You're a writer, you're a freelance editor. You do a lot. I see you wear lots of hats. I was at your website earlier today. And so can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
It's probably only one of my websites too. Yes, I am a freelance writer. My 20th book comes out this fall. I speak internationally, and I'm part of, my husband and I run a nonprofit called Abounding Ministries, where we invite people really into the fullness of God's love. And that looks like public schools even, and as well as Christian schools and churches and all sorts of other venues. So that's really exciting. And then one of the other things that I get to do, in addition to Right to Publish, which honestly, Right to Publish changed my life. I wouldn't be doing any of what I'm doing without it, I think. But one of the other things that I'm doing now is I'm helping other people launch into places where God is calling them. So it's our new website's lifelaunchme.com, and we're looking at, we help people move in the area of their gifts and dreams. I was challenged last year to start taking what I know about getting published and about developing speaking platforms and do that deliberately with people. So that's been fun.
That's great. Awesome. And you're busy. I know. I can imagine how busy you are. So thank you for taking the time with us today. Well, let's go back to Sherri. Sherri, what are you looking for right now? What are you acquiring? What are you going to hope to find at the conference?
Well, we have a list of themes that we've been going by this year, focusing on the Church of God's statement of faith. And it's called This We Believe, Canon and Creed. They came out with a book a number of years ago called This We Believe, and it's their doctrinal statements summarized. So each of our issues this year focus on one of those doctrines. And we just finished the May-June issue. We're getting ready to start the July-August issue. We're full for that. But the coming issues, I think September, October, we'll be looking at the church and its ordinances. November, December is prophecy. I believe the next deadline is June 15th, and I think that's right during your conference for the July, August, or September, October issue. And so I've asked our editor to please come up with the themes for next year, and all I know is it's going to be on the Great Commission. So we're looking for Bible teaching articles for the Bible Advocate, and some personal experience. And of course, for Now What, we're always looking for personal experiences. It's 100% freelance written, so it's a great market to get your work out there. So those are primarily the things we're looking for.
Well, great. Thank you. Terry, what about yourself? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for good stuff. That's what I always tell people. And then they always ask, how do you know what good stuff is? And I say, well, we'll know it when we see it. We start reading it. So, we're publishing a broad sweep of books out there, and having a lot of fun working with authors. Our model is very different at Morgan James, and I try to be transparent and clear about that as we talk. We allow the author to keep all their rights, which is one of the unusual things about what we do, and we work very closely with our authors to get good books and get them out there into the market. So I've been doing this a long time, and I've looked at a lot of submissions over the years, and I can tell pretty quickly whether it's going to be the right thing for us or not. Particularly, we're not looking for poetry, gift books, that kind of thing. We don't do a lot of that, but we do some children's books. I mean, one of our children's books has sold over 800,000 copies here recently. So, we have some success in that area. We had a novel on the New York Times list last year, so we're looking for good fiction. Our fiction has to be less than 100,000 words, and it has to be clean, which I don't think will be an issue at a Christian Writers Conference here. And so those are the parameters. So don't come with me with 120,000, 130,000 words, because we'll have to talk about how we do that if that's what you've got. But I'm looking for shorter nonfiction books, 50, 60,000 words, 75,000 words would be okay. I understand we've crashed and burned with a couple of 400-page Christian books. So I don't think I can get any more of those through the system. But I'm actively looking for all different kinds of books.
Well, great. Awesome. Well, hopefully you can get some good pitches at the conference this year.
I hope so.
So Jane, now as you said, Right to Publish has been influential in your writing life, but what advice can you give to a conferee to come and have that same experience? How can they kind of come and just be there to make kind of divine appointments, to get connected, and to really not only learn, but to grow in the craft, platform, all those things? What are some advice that you can give to some people who would really see a benefit in it?
First of all, come just expecting that you're going to be overwhelmed with lots and lots of information, but also to just be totally open to the people God brings your way. It's such an encouraging environment, and to not be threatened by the people's levels of giftedness or publication levels or whatever you might run into, to be open. But the other thing is that if God's calling you, then this is a no-brainer. Get to the Writers Conference, because it will change your life. God is faithful to call us and faithful to bring it to pass, but we gotta put pen to paper. So not going in with your self-esteem at stake is really critical. This isn't about your self-esteem. This is about your calling. And if we are deliberate about developing our gifts, then it will all come together. This is a great place for that to happen.
That's awesome. That's good advice. Now, so because I know sometimes the authors, they have difficulties with faculty because we're not always real people. So I always have to say, real person too. Don't be nervous. So tell us some little tidbits about yourself. So we'll start with you, Terry. What's an interesting fact about yourself?
An interesting fact about myself is that I know firsthand that books change people's lives, because years ago, a book changed my life. So that's why I spend my days in publishing. When I was a sophomore in college, I read a book called Jesus the Revolutionary that changed my life. And so that's why I live and breathe books day in and day out, because I know they change people's lives.
That's good. Awesome. Let's go, Jane. What about you? What's an interesting fact about yourself?
Well, I love that story about a book changing your life. And books were always a safe place for me. So I wonder if that's part of why I love it, but why I love writing. But probably one of the fun facts about me is that I grew up as a Southern Belle, so on a mountain in Tennessee, and I haven't lived there in a long time, as perhaps we can tell by my non-accent. But the South still calls to me. So that's an important part of, I think, that hospitality is part of what I bring to, or try to bring to, everything that I do, including write to publish.
Great. Awesome. Sherri, what about you?
Tidbit. Probably one of the great things is that I'm now a little bit over 5 years cancer-free, and I'm celebrating that. And if you weirder, I'm a drummer, and that's my drum kit. I don't know.
Okay.
Whoa,
There
look
it
at
is.
that.
I had no idea.
I play at my church, and I've been playing there for about 40 years, and it's noisy, and I don't have any mice because of this.
That's awesome.
I had no idea.
I wouldn't have guessed that. So I was trying to figure out what was the picture. I thought it was a billiard picture in the back. Then I realized it was like a French
thing back there.
Can you do a riff for us real quick?
A riff?
Yeah.
I don't. You really want it?
I'm sure it fits really well.
Like it.
The neighbors may not like it. We'll give the neighbors a break.
We'll do it another time.
Yeah, I was kind of teasing.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's go. So, Sherri, instead of having you do a riff, let's have you give us some tips or advice from people that are making pitches to you. What are some advice that you can give?
Just be calm. I like what has been said already, that we're human beings too. And I know that everybody tends to elevate the editors, and I do too. When I have an appointment with an editor, because I'm a freelance writer too, and I get very nervous, and I think, what do I say, or what are they going to say? Just try to be yourself. And you're very nervous in those appointments, and I understand that. But sometimes writers talk more about what they're trying to pitch, and they don't let me read the manuscript, and I want to read what they've written, and so I can kind of give them some advice or direction. So they get to going so much, and the next thing I know, our time is gone and I haven't read the piece. So I would say just try to be calm. We're human, and let me read your writing. Tell me a little bit about it, and then give me enough time so that I can actually read it.
Well, good. That's good advice. Terry, what about you? What's some advice you can give?
Yeah, my advice is to really be open throughout the whole conference for ideas and different things that you'll pick up on. Maybe it's at lunch that you're talking to somebody and you'll get an idea. Write it down, then go home and do it. I mean, I've written over 60 books for traditional publishers over the years, and written for more than 50 magazines. Is one of the things that I bring to the whole process. There is really being a writer as well as an editor. And I just want people to understand that I may not be the best writer in the room, but I am one of the more persistent, consistent guys that you'll meet out there. So what I encourage people to do is, after the conference, if somebody's encouraged you to send your stuff, do it. Because over and over, I find that what happens is people go home and, they get into life and they get into whatever's happening there, and they don't send it. So I look at people over and over and I say, this is really good. Send it to me. And the people that actually get published are the ones that actually send it in. It's not going to happen if you don't.
Yep, good advice. Yeah, I think 70% of people who get asked for it don't send it in, so which is insane, but that's the way it is. Sherri, what about you? Or sorry, you gave me some. Jane, what's some advice you want to give to people who are making pitches? I know you've made pitches in the past, and you've seen and heard things, so and you're still pitching books. So, what's some advice you can give?
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to do a pitch. Don't be afraid to make an appointment. Don't be afraid to offer your ideas. I've sat down with so many people, both as a writer for me, but also as someone listening to other people's ideas as a faculty member. And sometimes it's the idea that counts. And that's what leads into your next article or even a book idea or book contract. So don't be afraid, sign up, bring your ideas, and mostly, just again, bring your openness, because if you're at the Right to Publish Writers Conference, then there's a reason for you being there, and nobody can tell your story. And there may be 200 other people there, but no one else has your gifts, your history, and your potential. So don't be inhibited by that.
Right. Absolutely. Good advice. And then, Sherri, what do you want someone to bring to a pitch when they meet with you? Do you want to see something? Do you just want to talk? What do you want to see?
I would like to see something in writing, because it's hard for me. I'm a visual person, and I can hear your idea, and I might see, well, that might work, but I would rather see the completed work or maybe a draft of it. And then give me an idea of what your writing's like, and if this is going to fit. And if it's not going to fit, I can say, well, why don't you try another publication? And there might be other publications there that I can refer the person to, or go to the market guide and say, this really is more of a devotional. I think it would work better in the devotional market, and why don't you try this? So it's a good idea for me to see it. If I see it there, then I can make that decision.
That's good. And Terry?
I'm interested in seeing whatever they want to show me. So if they have a one sheet, that's good. If they have a proposal, that's good. If they have a manuscript, that's good. Whatever it is, that they'll bring it and show it to me. Or if it's a query letter, that's okay too. Whatever it is, you probably know this about me. You know this about me, Kyle, that I've got this book Proposals That Sell, 21 Secrets to Speed Your Success, that I wrote years ago as a frustrated acquisitions editor. And so proposals are really important to me, that it have that kind of information. We do take people at Morgan James that have small platforms, but more and more, I find even for us, the platform that reach that you have to reach your audience is very important to us as well. Your presence on social media, that you have more than 20 Twitter followers or something like that. So all those things, your ability to reach the audience is an important thing to bring with your pitch to me.
Good. And when you go through a proposal, Terry, where do you start? Do you go straight from the cover letter and just jump in at first page and work through? Do you go to platform? Do you go to the first chapter? Where do you go?
I've done it all different kinds of ways, Kyle. I often look at the writing because I can tell reading a few paragraphs whether this person can be a writer or not, and then I'm probably looking at their connections to the marketplace and to the readers. But yeah, we're working on all different kinds of books, whether it's general market or Christian. So there's a variety of things that I look at depending on what it is that you're pitching.
Great. And then we'll go with Jane. Jane, one of the things that I've always thought as a first-time, when I was a first-time conferee, I was glad I met with agents and editors, even though I wasn't really sure exactly what I was going to pitch. And I hear that every year. I'm not going to meet with anybody. It's my first conference. I'm just going to take it all in. what's your advice for that brand new first-time writers conference? Right to Publish is their first one ever. What's your advice for them when they're coming in the door, from making friendships and relationships to meeting with people? What can you really just give some advice on?
Yeah, absolutely. Go in expecting that you're going to find new friends. Expect to find new friends and look for them and be open to them. My best friends in the world now are people I met at Right to Publish. And the second thing is bring an idea list. Even if you don't know what it is you're supposed to do, what are the things you're passionate about? What have you seen in your life that you think you can translate for other people? And bring a list. And then when you get there, make appointments with some of the freelance writers, because the people who are professionals who are on staff who are not representing a house, they are fabulous to talk to and to help direct your journey. So those three things, I think, just to start out with. But Terry, you mentioned maybe your idea comes at lunch. Lunch and dinner, make an appointment and sit with somebody on the faculty at the meals. Breakfast is off limits, but lunch and dinner. I've sold books, I've sold articles, I've given people article ideas, I've listened, and they've walked away selling stuff to the next editor they talk to. You know, make the very most of every opportunity you can, because it works.
That's great. Yeah, I know. I think for myself, I sold 5 books in the lobby last year and 1 at breakfast. So
yeah.
I mean, you could do a lot if you're really there to do it. And it doesn't matter if you're first time or if you've been doing it a while.
And we haven't mentioned it, Kyle, but make sure they bring a business card with them, because that has their email and their phone number and maybe their picture like mine does here. And because you want to bring a lot of those cards to exchange those cards and get that information from all kinds of people, from editors, from other freelancers, from just agents, anybody that you're going to meet there at the event.
Yeah, great. Well, awesome. Well, I think we've taken up our time, and I appreciate you all taking the time to just share a little bit to help make this the greatest Right to Publish conference of someone's life. And hopefully in a few years, we'll have them coming back and me on faculty or something like this and saying, Right to Publish changed my life. And so we are excited to see you guys. I know I'm excited to see you guys in June. And anyone else watching this, we're excited to see you too. And remember, we're real people. Come up and say hi. Say you watch this video. You could even make fun of our little tidbits. You can ask Sherri to play the drums if she brings them. I don't think it's going to be a great conference. So thank you for watching this, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.